town wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old, we'll roll the old, we'll roll the old, and we'll all hang on behind. Well, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old, we'll roll the old, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind.
All right, welcome everybody to another late night stream, and this time I'm gonna do U-Boat again. Let me briefly check. I do have a little echo in the stream. I don't know if you hear it. Oh yeah, okay, there I have it. So, yeah, welcome navigator, nice to have you in. How are you doing? I hope you're fine. Yeah, I'm fine. A decent day at work and the evening with the family, and as I used to do it now, a little bit of time for myself and for you, my little nice Twitch community. Right, yeah. Perfectly fine. So at the moment, interesting. Okay. I thought I had trouble with sound, but yeah, everything seems to be alright. So, let me give you a brief summary first about the game and then about this particular game. So, U-Boat, as you might already have guessed, it's a Second World War submarine simulation, and you slip into the role of a German submarine commander. So, old topic that has been done many times in the history of computer gameplay, but yeah, this game here, U-Boat, I consider to be something special. I think this is really the best submarine simulation ever for quite a few reasons. I mean, let alone look at that wonderful graphics, what we have here, the bow cutting through the waves, the spray flying high up in the sun, and then we get this kind of beautiful cross-sectional view, and yeah, you see all the crew is simulated in detail, and this is one of the big gains of the game, that you really don't have that feeling that you're commanding a machine by pressing knobs on your keyboard, but you really have that feeling of being in control of crew, which in turn, yeah, controls the submarine. And yeah, the whole thing is set into a wonderful open world where nothing is scripted, but all the events just evolve naturally. So you have enemy convoys, enemy battle groups moving freely along the map, and you actually have to find them or avoid them, whatever you want. And yeah, that makes the game feel pretty real, like you are cruising the seven seas. You could go just actually everywhere, although it's recommendable to go where your seniors want you to go. But in principle, all the coasts of the world are modeled in the game. And yeah, you could even go to Cape Town or just anywhere. And the coasts are modeled in the game, the depths, the sea bottom is modeled wonderfully, and the encounters are really great. Each encounter is different depending on the time of the day, time of the year, weather conditions, wind, rain, visibility. So yeah, for me this game is just endless fun. So before this might sound too much like an advertising for the programmers of that, let me carry on and tell you what I am doing here. I'm actually streaming the whole campaign. So I started at the very beginning of the war in September 39, at the eve of Hitler's raid on Poland, and since then I've been playing all through the war and streaming all that, sharing it with you, my little community. And yeah, if you want to see the history, most of it is also uploaded on my YouTube channel. And yeah, the recent situation is that I spent a lot of time on the Arctic Convoys mission set, and you see I have fulfilled already 2/3 of it. But yeah, still quite some way to go. I have sunk roughly 160,000 tons, but I need to sink another 90,000 to finally finish the whole Arctic Convoy mission set. And to be honest, finding convoys up here turned out to be a bit of a pain in the ass, and I finally managed to find a convoy, sensor convoy, track him down, and just when I started to infiltrate the convoy by being on periscope depth straight ahead of their course, fog dropped in. Such a dense fog, and that was exactly what happened a mission ago when a bit further towards Murmansk I also ran into a convoy, and yeah, just the same thing. Just when I ran into the convoy and infiltrated it, a very bad visibility came up, a snowstorm, and so it was so hard to actually figure out the targets, and this time I just didn't manage it. The fog was so dense that I didn't get any clear target. I could not program the targeting computer, and finally I was tracked down by the escort and just barely got away. Well, finally I got away, and then there was one lone single stray convoy without escort, not convoy, a single merchantman without escort, and at least I managed to sink that one. That's this NA1. And well, while we were infiltrating the big convoy, there was another submarine doing the same from the other side, and it was sunk within the action. We see that here in the message history. Well, so that's it, and now the mission is in principle, the mission is completed because we have traveled sufficient mileage, but the optional mission to sink 4,000 tons, this is still open, and still I am a bit eager to fulfill it. Let's see. So we are slowly heading back to Bergen now. maybe zigzagging a bit and trying to track down more hydrophone contacts, maybe being lucky to be able to sink one more ship. But at the moment it's still dense fog, pretty bad visibility. You can see that here. If you look here at the pale disk of the sun. By the way, if you look at the time, it's 10:30 in the evening, but we are in the middle of summer and we are so far north that we actually have the midnight sun around here. So even at 12 o'clock at night, midnight, the sun would still be quite a bit above the horizon. So it never gets dark in the summer, the other way around. If I would be up here in winter, it would never get daylight, actually. Also, one of the beautiful features of the game, that times of the day and the different times of the year are so wonderfully modeled. Yeah, giving you very different boundary conditions for your action all the time. Yeah, by the way, we still have these messages queued, so let's have Mr. Strauss man the radio room. And let's send these messages back home. What else can we check? We have a bit of water in the bilge, but yeah, 20 liters, that's almost not even worthwhile to turn on the pump. Let's do it anyway. Yeah. Sorry. So that's one of the beautifully realistic details of the game, that you use to accumulate a bit of water in the bilge, like you would in real life. Now let's check the stores. Yeah, still perfectly fine in terms of food. Discipline is high. Just before we started this mission, the crew was on shore leave for 3 weeks, so they should be alright in terms of discipline, in terms of moral. Fuel is still almost 90%. Yeah, so all the stats look fine. We still have plenty of resources. Yeah, sending all these messages takes a little while. Somebody's turning off the pump because the bilge is empty, so you don't have to do too much micromanagement. This is what is nicely balanced in the game. So there is quite a lot of stuff which the crew just does on their own. From experience, some workflows where you don't have to order every single thing, but it's still, you still have enough control that you are in control. So to me this feels very much like it would be to control a submarine. Well, I never was in control of a submarine, but still in industries I was in control of work groups, and so at least from that point of view I do have that good and realistic feeling about this. So message is almost through. When the message is sent, we can let Mr. Strauss step away into his well-earned break. Yeah, we ended our last stream a few days ago with a hydrophone check. So we checked something like this area roughly. Yeah, let's turn north a bit and maybe go for a few hours northwards and then do another hydrophone check. On we go. So 2 o'clock will be a change of watch. Mr. Grada took over the watch. That's fine. And okay, now it's 2 o'clock. And the still is still. Sun is high up. And we still have that constant fog. Come on. Fog must leave us alone sooner or later. Must he? So let's go for another 2 hours. 4 o'clock, and let's order a hydrophone check. So this is one of these workflows. When I order a hydrophone check, it's a standard procedure for the crew, which means that, like you see here, all the off-watch crew is assembling in the front compartment. The depth steers are gonna be manned. Someone is opening the valves. Opening the valves means that seawater is being let into the ballast tanks. Here you see the ballast tanks being flooded, the depth steers pointing downwards. And all this takes a little while, so when you order dive, it doesn't happen instantly, but yeah, the crew has to operate the boat, and all this operation is actually simulated. And only then the diving actually takes place and you go down. So that's quite a bit of a challenge in case you have incoming air patrols, for example. But yeah, in my eyes, this makes this simulation feel so great, so realistic. So what's happening? The crew brings the boat down to 50 meters, stops the engines and listens to the hydrophone for 5 minutes and then brings the boat back to the surface. That's the hydrophone check. Yeah, here it's night time, so we have red light on. There are 50 meters, so the crew turned off the engines. Did she? Yeah, okay. Propeller stopped. And here we have Mr. Hinrich, our experienced radio man, with one crewmate operating the hydrophone. And here we see that we actually have that enormous detection range here down here underwater. Sound propagates for enormous ranges. I just wonder a bit why I only get something like 85 miles of radius. I should get even more. Don't know why it is that. 10 knots, I don't know. But that's it. That's the radius that we are checking.
Meter.
Let's see if there is any contact around. Mr. Hinrich? At the moment it looks like there is nobody. No single propeller moving within this enormous radius of 85 miles. Yeah guys, welcome to the stream. I just see the numbers going up. Don't see your names, only the numbers. So you are completely anonymous when you watch, and it's perfectly fine if you just lurk silently. Yeah, just great to have you in the stream, but let me mention nevertheless that if you would put some comments into the chat, make yourself visible and participate in our little conversations here, you would make a little streamer like me even a little bit more happy. Or maybe consider giving me a follow, but don't feel pushed. However, as I said, perfectly fine if you just watch silently, whatever you like. Yeah, nevertheless, great to have you in. And yeah, what I really most like about streaming is, the fact that we get into conversation over continents and over oceans. And that's so amazing.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, and if you see me, a German, playing this game, jumping into the role of a German World War II submarine commander, rest assured that I'm not about changing history, but just doing this for the fascination of that technology that they had back then. On the one hand, the fascination of the technology, and on the other hand, the fascination on the kind of human challenge that this gave for the officers and the crews of these submarines back then. Yeah, the game is pretty straightforward in this, so you don't have to really have the chance to change history in the game. So it's more about survival, finally. And there we get back to the surface, and there was no contact. Yeah, that's what other people confirm, that in the Arctic Convoys mission set, enemy convoys are sometimes pretty rare. And it may take quite a while and quite a whole lot of hydrophone checks to figure out any more targets. So here we are back again in the dense fog. That's the routine of the game, which in my eyes also gives it a lot of immersion. It's no arcade quick action game. You really need a bit of patience for this one. Oh, nice. Acquiescing. Great to have you in. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I hope that we get some more opportunity for hunting. How are you doing? Hope you had a good day. So I haven't been streaming UBOAT now for 2 nights. But as I promised, I will always come back to UBOAT. Captain Jimbo, yeah. I actually just reported back to headquarters. And we might well get lost here in the fog. It is still such a pea soup. Yeah, nice to have you in, guys. I hope you're fine. I mean, if I look at the number of watches, that's a clear answer. Which game is your favorite, my dear friends? Yeah, the fog loves me, obviously. Let's see. I mean, I pretty much love how all these different types of weather are implemented in the game. But yeah, fog is really kind of a pain in the ass at the moment. But yeah, what sense does it make to complain about the weather? Let's carry on until we do another hydrophone check. 6 o'clock, change of watch. Mr. Schultz at the map. Very good. And on we go. So let's go on until 10 o'clock. That will be the next hydrophone check. And here we are.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
And still, I even have the feeling that the dance becomes even thicker. However, let's do the next hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
There we go, 50 meters again. Yeah, Captain Jimbo, that's perfectly fine, and yeah. So, I think I'm gonna continue streaming Bannerlord now and then, but I promise that my, favorite streaming will still stay U-Boat, that's for sure. Hey, not West, just cold. Nice to have you in. Yeah, it's not bad, is it? That AA gun. Ah, we are just diving, but we can have a look at it anyway. Well, this is actually what I find pretty fascinating. I mean, you have the deck gun, you have the AA gun, and all that stuff is exposed. It's so heavily exposed to the seawater. And yeah, we all know what seawater actually does to to metallic tissue. And so this is really amazing. So the whole material on a submarine must have been so much strained and stressed, not only by going to the depths, but only just by the heavy duty at sea. Yeah, not wet, just cold. I hope you're fine. How are you doing? And nice to have you back in again.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
Yeah, aqua-icing my day was perfectly fine. So, I didn't do home office today. I went to my office and I had two nice meetings today, which went pretty alright. So, everything fine, and then as usual some nice and quiet evening with the family. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I think. I mean, this one here from the drag, right? At least as soon as you dive, these shields, these armor shields, whatever that is, they kind of should get ripped off.
50 Meter.
At least I think it would have been turned around into the other direction to make it at least a bit streamlined. But I don't know, I think this is historical. I think they really had these kind of guns on a submarine, but I 100% agree. That's pretty amazing. Yes, the metal plates, yeah. Yeah, that's right, only 7 knots. Seven knots would be something like, yeah, 12 kilometers per hour. Even with a bike you could ride faster, yeah. So that's not that fast. But still, it kind of feels a bit weird to have all that stuff out there while diving. By the way, let's not forget about
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
our hydrophone check. Yeah, the range still feels a bit limited.
Herr Kaloin?
Yeah, the one thing is the speed, but the other one thing is that such a gun is some piece of, yeah, precision craftsmanship of metalworking. And then you have all the salty seawater getting just into anything. And that must have been quite some strain, getting corrosion just everywhere. So that must have been very high quality material, so that this gun would still work after several dives and afterwards being exposed to air again. And yeah, you never see this in the good old movie classic Das Boot, but I think whenever they surfaced back from a dive, they must have spent a hell lot of time in, yeah, cleaning the guns and squeezing oil just into anything to keep them going in all that seawater ambient.
Meter.
So again, nothing.
Jawohl.
No contact.
Aktuelle Tiefe 15 Meter.
Let's get a bit into that
Kurs auf
direction.
diese Koordinaten setzen. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloin, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Yes, yeah, I think so. A lot of maintenance you need to keep that equipment going, yeah. Ah, by the way, let's do a new save game as I used to do when I start a new stream. 3, 5, 2. And here we are. Yeah, by the way, beautiful guys to have so many people in. Some, yeah, WD-40. Yes, exactly. That's the all-round thing to put in. Yeah, you could put much more detail into that in the simulation. Yes, yep. So there is still potential. I mean, this game is great. Great level of details, but yeah, you could always put more details in. And I think it would still be compatible towards gameplay. And you could like turn it on and off. So guys like me playing on maximum difficulty level and others maybe would turn these effects just off. Yep. I mean, there are so many people on a submarine. There must be something to keep them busy. And yeah, we have a crew of 27 crew and officers, and I think in real life it was more like 40 or more people. So they have reduced complexity a bit in the simulation by reducing the number of crewmates, which is for me perfectly fine. But I think in real life it was almost twice as many people on the submarine. And you have to keep them busy somehow in real life. I think there is a mod, isn't it? So I'm not playing with mods. But I think I heard that there is a mod which would even increase the number of crewmates. I'm just always a bit afraid that if you have a nicely balanced game, that mods might just kind of fuck up the balancing. Getting ill? Yeah, I mean, you mean getting injured in action, or? On we go. So, 2 o'clock again in the afternoon, and we still have the dense fog. It just doesn't go away.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
And let's go for another 2 hours, and yeah, come on, another hydrophone check. We can afford it.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Yeah, the wind is freshening up, so now it's 12 knots. And the more wind we have, the more swell is going on. Yeah, we do have quite a swell. I think it's still only 12 knots, and I think the waves are going pretty high for 12 knots already. But I mean, that's real life. And even also in real life, there is not always a one-to-one correlation between the size of the swell and the wind speed. And there we go. Beautiful, isn't it? This diving sequence. Yeah, but I think we will have pretty far reduced detection range now with this swell. Yeah, we go down to 50 meters, and down here the movement of the waves up there might still give us quite some noise and background, which reduces our active detection range.
45 Meter.
Yeah, that is tuberculosis, isn't it? And you have that so often. So I'm playing the game now for 3.5 years, and I think I only had 2, maximum 3 cases of tuberculosis in all these 3.5 years. And yeah, when you say get knocked off the ship, you mean in air attacks, or do they just without enemy action fall off the ship. I had that once, in the last mission. I had an air raid, and the air raid actually managed to come in and drop rockets and depth charges upon us when we were still on the surface and the crew manning the guns, and then one of the crewmates was knocked overboard and got lost. Pretty small detection range now. Yeah, okay, below 80 miles. Yeah, but it's still decent. Still okay. Wow, yeah, that's bad. So I hope it wasn't an officer. Yeah, but probably it was, right? And there we are, silently listening.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
But still no contacts. Yeah, the 2A, yeah. But still, I mean, I hate it and I love it at the same time, because I really love that concept that you start with a small submarine and then have to earn your merits to finally get the Type 7. Yeah, but of course it's terrible. It's slow. It has this low range. It's really tricky to even outmaneuver an ordinary slow convoy with 10 knots or with 8 knots. It takes ages to overtake it and put yourself in front of it. But nevertheless, I love that they gave the game this variety of 2 different submarine times and in a month. So now today it's the March. March 18 and April 17 they announced they would publish that next DLC. We are all eagerly awaiting. Yeah, same for me. Yeah, it's a nice birthday present, hopefully, for me. I might have mentioned that.
Anblasen.
Okay, let's carry on like that.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Meter.
Yeah, up to now, these developers turned out to be pretty reliable. All the things that they did publish usually were of high quality. So it's a small development team, but they do a very good job. Like I used to say, nowadays you often have the feeling that these small, unknown development teams do a better job than these big development crews in the large companies.
Motoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloy, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Yes, quite a wave going. Look at that. Hey, thank you very much for that subscription. Yes. Yeah, thanks. That's just great. Thanks for the commitment. That's very much appreciated. Yeah, look at that. And what I read, I think I read that with the update they would also have made the wave model even more realistic. I don't know details, but that sounds good. What I am missing a bit is yeah, that it makes a difference where the wind comes from, the wind direction. Yeah, alright. The wind direction. Maybe it's gonna make more of a difference after the update. Let's see. Look at that. How deep the boat actually goes. So this even looks like we didn't clear the tanks completely. No. That tank is empty. That tank is empty. Just have a tiny bit of water in the bilge, but so it's just the waves. Pretty amazing. Wind speed of 12 knots and still having these size of waves. And still the fog being around. On we go. And change of watch, Mr. Schulz
Ich könnte
back
etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
at the map.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Now at least it's not foggy anymore, but we have a thunderstorm going on with snow. Dense snow, a bit choppy, yes, it's quite a choppy sea, I would say. Wind speed has gone up to 25 by now, so the waves going high up was an indication that a storm was coming in. Wow, look at that. I would not prefer to stand watch in such a weather up there on the bridge. They would get completely soaked, and so you see it's snowing. It's still very cold, probably up so far in the north.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Navigation
Yeah,
gesetzt.
please do some more navigation work, even though it's off watch. And yeah, let's do another hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Let's just make sure that no convoy slips our attention. Yeah, being below would be even as worse, and you need quite some tough stomach down there as well.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Yeah, pretty tough life for sure. we go. Next hydrophone check.
20 Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 35 Meter.
And there we are.
Herr Kaloi,
Okay, now.
50 Meter.
Wow, 26? Wind speed of 26 knots even. I think I never had 26 knots. I think up to now I always had it maxed out at 25. An enormous swell up there. So, look at that. We have just minimum detection range with the hydrophone. Two guys at the hydrophone, propellers turned off, and it's still like that. In this weather, the hydrophone check does make almost no sense. Come on, guys, we could just stop it and get straight back to the surface. Yeah, usually in this weather we should
45
accumulate
Meter.
quite a bit of water now. Up to now, the bilge is still relatively dry.
25 Meter.
Time of the day is 10 o'clock in the evening.
5 Meter.
And there we are.
Motoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
2 o'clock. Here we are. Change of watch.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Still 25 knots of wind speed.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloi.
No. Okay. So, wind speed has been going down. We still have a bit of snow and still a thunderstorm going on, but let's do another hydrophone check and let's see. With 70 knots of wind speed, we might at least get a bit more detection range with the hydrophone.
Ja?
The crew has been assembling in the fore compartment.
5 Meter.
In the forecastle, ballast tanks flooded, and down we go.
25 Meter.
45 Meter.
Yeah, okay. A bit of an improvement of the detection range.
Meter. Herr Kaloi,
And still no contacts.
Anblasen.
And there we are,
Motoren wechseln.
back to the surface.
aufgetaucht.
Yeah, that's a bit of a chore now. But on we go. Next watch at 6 o'clock.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Okay, so finally we have a stretch of sunshine and wind speed has gone down to 7 knots. So let's enjoy that.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloin.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Yeah, that's the first time since a week or something in game that we have clear visibility and no fog or snowstorm or anything.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter. E-Motoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloin?
Yeah, also this is like you really have that feeling that the boat is dynamically moving in the water. Not like just on rails, but really doing diving physics. Hey, yippee yap, nice to have you in again. Good evening. How are you doing? Or, well, I should say good afternoon. Yeah, it's U-Boat again.
50 Meter.
Yeah, even though I might now and then drop in a few other games to be streamed, I would never abandon this game. Yeah, much better
45
hydrophone range by now.
Großer Konvoi.
Nice.
355.
We have a contact, large convoy. Yeah, I'm glad to have you in the stream again. And you just dropped in the moment that we seem to have detected a large convoy. Where is it? Dead ahead, and I guess that it is heading for us, more or
50
less.
Meter.
Okay. So now, guys, keep fingers crossed that the good visibility keeps up and that it's not like for the last 2 convoys that we had, that just in the moment we infiltrate the convoy, thick fog or
45 Meter.
thick snowstorm is coming in. Maybe this time we have some better luck with the weather. Let's see. So that's him.
Herr Kaloin?
One nice convoy, 20 to 40 units.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
Yeah, that's decent. Yeah, that's nice to hear, because that's actually also my personal attitude for streaming. It's about relaxing. And U-Boat is one of these games where you can nicely relax, have a little chat with the chat, with you guys, and progressing the game. And yeah, then after some time you get into tense action, and then get out of that again. So for me, this is a wonderful pace for streaming. Now let's finish the hydrophone check and get back to the surface, and then go for that guy for 1 hour and do the next hydrophone check to figure out what their direction is, what their speed is. You're animating me. Oh. Yeah, you're doing a lot of art stuff, right? Like painting or drawing things.
Jawohl.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Okay, that's a bit weird, because this is definitely not there.
Kurs setzen.
Ah, okay, but that would imply that they're moving like that. But yeah, let's see that later. So don't use this button because it might be some kind of cheating. Let's just finish the hydrophone check silently.
Anblasen. 25 Meter.
And there we go, back to the surface. And let's go flank speed straight for them. Now it's 10 past 10 in the morning.
Herr Kaloin, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Let's go for 1 hour and do another hydrophone check. Well, let's give it a save at that point. W353. There we go. Ten past 11 would be it. And stop it 1 hour and
Tauchen auf.
the next hydrophone check. So now I'm curious to where they have moved.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr
Crew discipline is still alright. Fuel level is fine. Let's make sure that we have sufficient food in the galley. But I think one type of food should be alright at the moment. The crew is still rather relaxed from the shore leave that they had just before this mission.
E-Motoren wechseln.
No.
Schraubengeräusche. Großer Konvoi. Peilung 5 Grad. Herr Kapitän,
Okay. There they are.
25 Meter.
Convoy. O2, the second convoy that we get on this mission. And obviously it is moving
45
like
Meter.
that would be pretty slow, moving almost only with 6 knots. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we should get a more precise reading when we get closer.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
Flip a clip. Okay. Is it free or could you download it, or is it some paid software?
45 Meter. Meter.
Yeah, okay, nice. Interesting. And yeah, do you have some, do you do it on a note, on a, how do you call it, notepad? Or do you have one of these drawing boards, which are actually pretty nice?
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
A tablet, yeah, okay.
Anblasen.
Herr Kaloin?
All right, back to the surface.
Tiefe 25 Meter. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, we could already do a bit of extrapolation.
5 Meter. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
So,
Sie sind aufgetaucht.
if we go on with that, another hour would bring them there. Another 2 hours would bring them there. And what about us? 1 hour. Two hours. Yeah, might become tough to catch up with them. But let's do it. Let's go for 2 hours. And then do the next hydrophone check. That was 20 past 11. Past 12. Let's just carry on till 20 past 1. And then get another hydrophone reading. Yeah, the wind speed is still rather low. And the weather is still fine. And there we are. So let's keep fingers crossed that the weather stays stable. Now,
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
next hydrophone check. So this first extrapolation, if it is fairly okayish, that convoy should be somewhere around here. Hey, that's a bit of a weird direction for a convoy. Looks like he's heading into nowhere. Yeah, in parallel, Mr. Schneider is keeping up, caring for the maintenance of all the torpedoes.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
Yeah, a bit of water in the bilge, and down we go. Like these bubbles going up from the hull. I love that. I love that graphics.
25 Meter. Schraubengeräusche. Großer Konvoi. Peilung 300.
There they are. Yeah, guys, beautiful to have all of you in the stream. That's so great. So, the last 2 nights I had been streaming Bannerlord, which is a game which I love very much.
Aktuelle Tiefe
But
50 Meter.
yeah, now this really gives me that feeling of a difference again. So last night there were periods of streaming Bannerlord when there was just one guy watching. And so it's so beautiful to see that I just have to switch back to UBOAT and all of you guys drop in and join my company. That's wonderful to see. Thanks a lot for that. Propeller stopped doing the listening.
Ja,
There we are. Let's see how precise our dead reckoning was. Yeah, it was not that bad. So that convoy turns out to be there. And now let's do some estimation of their speed. 15 knots. So they're moving with something like 7.5 knots roughly. 7 or 8 knots something. Now, if we continue with flank speed, 1 hour will see us here, and it will see them there. And the next hour will see us here, and it will see them. So this will bring us to towards a nice interception course. I think we could just go on like that. That looks pretty alright. To put ourselves ahead of that convoy. Okay, headquarter task. So let's do some Naval Academy task. Who's gonna go for the Naval Academy? Mr. Seifert. So that means if I send him to the Naval Academy, he will gain some experience and maybe level up. So this is a possibility to train your officers at home. Which is quite nice, good idea to implement this Naval Academy. Still, at that point, I would like to have the game being a bit more challenging. So over the time, I have accumulated so many officers, and that feels a bit unrealistic. Having all these officers as backup. Same for money. So I have so much money actually. And I think it's not just because I'm such a brilliant player. It's maybe a bit too easy. Maybe they should reduce a bit the amount of money that you get. Depending on the difficulty level maybe. But I think it is already on the hardest difficulty level that I'm playing. I think I could well stand it to be a little bit tighter on the budget, to give it some additional aspect of the gameplay actually. Yeah, we're just finishing the hydrophone check.
Anblasen.
And there we go.
Jawohl.
Back to the surface.
40 Meter.
Yeah, the off-watch crew, relaxing, regaining strength.
20 Meter.
There we are. Back towards the sunlight. Yeah, it's 1:30 and the weather is still stable. Let's hope that it stays like that. Give it a save and go on like that for another 2 hours. It's 1:30, so we are going till 3:30. Oh, no. Radar detector contact. Wow, on that distance we get that contact. On that distance, that's pretty amazing.
Kurs setzen.
Maybe I should change the course a little bit further like that. Let's just hope that they don't detect us yet. Change of watch.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
First hour. Second hour, here we are. So one radar contact.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
And the other radar contact. Now let's see what the hydrophone tells us.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Yeah, okay. The radar detector really gives us good reading. That means that meanwhile these escorts have radar mounted. They didn't have it since pretty late in the war. I think this only started something like 1, 2, 3 months ago that the escorts actually had radar mounted.
45 Meter.
Herr Kapitän,
There they are. So, my dead reckoning is pretty alright. Convoy 02.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
Yeah, that's interesting to see. The hydrophone contact actually gives us a signal there, and this is what we got from the passive radar detection. Distance 16 miles.
ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Meter.
Yeah, now, what's the plan? We are going to finish the hydrophone check, get back to the surface once more, go forward to be right ahead of them, and then dive and infiltrate them. Going on slow speed, silent running, and let them pass across us so that we silently move into the center of the convoy and then start sinking them. In the past, this tactics was pretty alright, but meanwhile, the escorts are so good that it is pretty high risk that you're detected while doing this infiltration.
Ja?
Herr Kapitän,
Yeah, there they are. Yeah, it's sometimes worthwhile to just finish off the 5 minutes of detection, just to make sure that there is no other interesting contacts around. Yeah, aqua-icing. You have to. I mean, that's the only way nowadays to get tonnage. Yep.
Anblasen.
There we are.
25 Meter.
Going back to the surface.
5 Meter. Herr Chariot ist aufgetaucht.
Now if we continue for another 1 hour, it would bring us there. And it would bring them there. Which is perfectly fine. We're still far ahead of them and hopefully still out of their radar range. Give it a save. So that's important, that they don't detect us with their radar systems. And when I detect them with the radar, it doesn't necessarily mean that they detect us. So we have this passive radar detection system. And while we pick up their radar rays, it might well be that they don't pick up our reflected signal because the submarine is just too small a target. Not much cross section to throw back the to reflect the radar signal. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's the point. The more planning patience you need. So early in the game you could just rush in, guns blaring, even on the surface sometimes. And this late in the war things become more and more tricky. So 1 more hour now, till 4:30. Fingers crossed that the weather stays stable. I don't want to get fog again. And there we are, 4:30. One radar signal there. Let's mark it. And still fair weather. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. We don't have to worry about sunset because the sun doesn't set in summer so far north around here. And then the captain doing the restless vigil on the conning tower. That's so beautiful. Would that be a good thumbnail, maybe? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that would be a nice thumbnail. So let's have that for a little while, so that I might later find it. Yeah, let's do another last hydrophone check. There we go.
50 Meter.
Battery capacity is to 90. I think I can take that 90% of battery capacity and go in with that.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Aktuelle Tiefe 5
Auf
Meter.
E-Motoren wechseln.
So, any contacts? Yeah, they should be contacts, of course.
Großer Konvoi. Peilung 225 Grad.
Alright.
Aktuelle Tiefe 40 Meter.
Yeah, that's it. So,
Auf Seerohrtiefe.
go for periscope depth. Distance towards the convoy now is,
45 Meter.
yeah, 18 miles. At that point, I would not go back to the surface because now I'm too afraid that their advanced radar technology would detect me on the surface.
25 Meter. Herr Kaloi, wir sind auf Seerohrtiefe. Boot für Rundblick eingesteuert.
Okay, see, we completely overshot. Coming from 50 meters. So this you should avoid at all costs when there is any enemy ships in visibility. But right now it was, yeah, no problem. At the moment they are completely out of sight, so I think we could use the snorkel. Let's do it.
Schnorchel ausfahren.
And somebody turn on
Lupe einschalten.
the pump. And then let's see that we go to
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
halbe Fahrt and get a little bit of reloading of our batteries until they actually come into range. So now propeller stopped, they're changing to diesel, and there we are. Nothing to be seen yet on the horizon. So we could nicely go on like that. We are relatively slow, so when you are going with a snorkel, you use the diesel, but down there you are still considerably slower than you would go with the diesel on the surface. Which is, yeah, quite logical because you have much more drag down here. Hey guys! Great to have you in. I just see that the number of watchers has increased further, so guys, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you in. But yeah, don't feel observed. I don't see your names or something. I just see the numbers going up, which is perfectly fine. So if you're just in for a lurk and want to watch a little bit anonymously, perfectly fine. I'm always glad to just have a few people watching, being interested in our gameplay here. But of course, let me mention that some participation in the chat, of course, gives me the most satisfaction. Like, yeah, this is what streaming for me is about. It's about conversation. And what I most like is that we have this conversation over countries, over continents, and across oceans. And yeah, that's just great. So if you would like to make a little streamer like me even more happy, you could just give a hi, tell us where you're from, what your experience with the game is. But as I said, don't feel pushed. Perfectly fine if you just lurk and watch. By the way, any follow is warmly welcome just as well. So you are in the comfortable situation that we have detected an enemy convoy, and there might be some action going on sooner or later. Yeah, this game is no arcade quick action game, so things really develop over hours, you can say. I mean, in real life. And this gives a very deep immersion into the game, which I quite like, and which I tried to share with you in the stream. So we have traveled the necessary mileage in the patrol area, so the primary target of the mission is done, but it would still be nice if we would fulfill the secondary, the optional target, and for this we would have it would be sufficient to sink one more merchantman, but maybe we are lucky and succeed to sink even more, but we will see. Things are gonna be tough. Maybe we could just be happy to sink just one of these guys and not being sunk by ourselves. But at the moment the weather still looks okay. Fingers crossed that we don't get poor visibility like we had on the approach on Convoys the last 2 times. Yeah, the weather up here in the Arctic North is pretty unpredictable. And we still need something like a 90,000 tons to finally finish the Arctic Convoys mission set. Here we are. So around here we had detected this contact for the first time, and then I did frequent hydrophone checks to figure out, extrapolate their course, interpolate their speed. So I'm pretty sure that they are moving with something like 8 knots in this direction. And so I try to intercept them, put myself right in front of them, and now diving. They are still pretty far away, so I won't go back to the surface because I'm afraid that their radar systems might detect us, but like this they are out of vision range, so they wouldn't see our smoke trailing behind. So at the moment it's still safe to use the snorkel, but sooner or later I have to stop it. Right now I use the snorkel because I want to stay at 100% air quality, and I would like to regain a full battery load before I get into the tough part of sneaking into the convoy, infiltrating the convoy. So probably we won't get any decent hydrophone. Although we have the diesel running, we still get a bit of a hydrophone reading, but not quite clear how much reliable that actually is. Let's give it a save, and let's give it like, how fast are we moving? 10 knots would bring us pretty close already. So if we would go on for 1 hour like that, we would be there, and them, they would end up, we would encounter them, and this is what I don't want to do. So let's see, half an hour would bring them there and would bring us here, which would still leave something like 7 miles between us. Now let's see. Let's give it some time acceleration. Let's go for 15 minutes. So 15 minutes we are here. They should be there. Any smoke columns yet? Yes, there is some little smoke column there. So maybe it is now or soon the right time to put down the snorkel. We are almost 100% battery capacity. And distance now something like 12 miles. Maybe I could get just a bit closer. I really can't believe that they would spot our little smoke trail on that distance.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
So here we are. And there is lots of smoke columns. We should be more or less right ahead of them. Now at that point, please. Yeah. Just a bit of water in the bilge. Come on, let's
Schnorchel einfach.
drop the snorkel. Retract the snorkel.
Auf die Motoren.
Okay, yeah, the snorkel actually allows us to go with the diesel even when we are on periscope depth. Yeah, of course the diesel needs fresh air and the exhaust has to be up to the surface. And now we can only do the electric engine. Okay, all right, so there now we get several signals. With the hydrophone.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Yeah, that convoy is large, so it will spread across maybe 1, 2, 3 miles of the ocean. Captains at the periscope, so at the moment they are so far away that we don't have to be afraid that they would spot our periscope later when we actually infiltrate the convoy. This will be a high risk that they would actually spot our periscope. You should then always keep it just peeking out of the water and put it away. So only peeking shortly, briefly, and then put it away again. Now we have to keep in mind that the convoy is probably doing large-scale zigzagging across their average course, like this, that, but that's very unpredictable, and of course this is why they do it. So this large-scale zigzagging only started something like maybe half a year ago, a bit more. So when you are in the 3rd year of the war, the convoys do that as standard to make it even harder for you to figure out their course. Yeah, the smoke columns somehow gives us some information about their course relative to us. So this smoke column implies that their angle on bow towards us might be something like 45 degrees. Rough estimation. Or if we look at yeah, they used to move in different columns, so there would be several parallel columns, and yeah, at the moment they are more kind of moving on a course a little bit south, so at the moment maybe they are on a leg. If we use the angle tool, so having them on a 45 degrees course this direction might be, but yeah, hard to tell. That's my guess, that they're on this leg, and sooner or later they are gonna turn towards that leg. Oh wow, guys. Again, I see that we have a few more people watching, so welcome, guys. That's just great to have you in, and as I used to mention, don't worry, you're completely anonymous. So if you just want to lurk silently, that's perfectly fine. Just enjoy yourself and the stream. But of course, I'm always happy to get some comments in the chat. So just do as you like. And yeah, I just want to say, I don't see who you are, I just see the number of people watching. And I'm perfectly happy with just having a few people watching like you do. But some comments in the chat are always welcome. So we are closing in. The smoke columns become more distinct. And this guy is going definitely straight for us, but because this guy seems to be on some kind of a different course than the others, this seems to be for me a clear indication that these stray smoke columns here, this guy, and this guy, that they are probably escorts, and that's the problem. Meanwhile, it is like if you have a convoy with something like 15 merchantmen, you might have just the same number of escorts building a tight circle around the bulk of the merchantmen. So it becomes really, really difficult to infiltrate into the convoy. So let's assume that they are going like that. And let's go for a perpendicular course to intercept them.
Jawohl. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Yeah, at the moment it more looks like, yeah, I mean, hydrophone contact wise, it looks more like they are moving straight towards me. But if you look at the smoke columns, hey, oh guys, come on, please, don't tell me that the visibility is going down. Please don't tell me that. Yeah, weather is still alright. It's getting evening, but yeah, the sun is still high up. Having the midnight sun thing. Okay. So. Oh yes, I've changed course. That was it.
Alarm! Konvoi in Sicht! Peilung! 315 Grad!
Yeah, come on guys, you can step away
Alarm
from
beenden!
battle stations. I don't want to have the guys on battle station all the time till we approach them. That would just stress them too much. Yeah, they all look like they're more on a southern course. But we will see. Let's give it a save. And just do a bit of time acceleration now and then. Distance, estimated distance, 5 miles. So they are really coming in.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Yeah, look at the smoke columns. They are really heading something like that and not straight for me. Now let's see what the hydrophone tells us.
Befehle.
So there is, guys, these closest contacts.
Herr Kapitän,
I guess they are the escorts, so I really have to be careful about them.
ich erwarte Ihre Befehle. Herr Kapitän, wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Wow, they're really getting close by now. 3 miles. 3 miles. They're really getting into range. And I have to start worrying about them spotting my periscope. Okay, they are mast up. So that's definitely a merchantman with mast up. What else can we see? What else? That's definitely an escort for sure. Merchantman. Yeah, okay, there is already merchantmen which are not. Yeah, this is an escort. Pretty sure, just as well. Hey guys, so now this is gonna become juicy. So sure, one escort at 3:30, which is actually minus 30, something like that. So let's estimate that this guy is an escort, which is really closing in. That's gonna be critical, and this at -50 is also an escort. $50. I don't know. I don't see it. But escort incoming. Lots of. Oh, this guy is giving me trouble. That's worrying me. What about you guys? Might also be an escort. Hard to tell. More or less dead ahead. Wow, this is gonna become so hard. These one nice. That guy is very close by now. But on the other hand, this guy is heading straight for us. So could we manage to go for this at 25 degrees? So let's hide away in the periscope. There is a merchantman at 25 degrees. And I guess it is probably still 3 or 4 miles away. And problem is I have to speed down, reduce speed so that our sound signature is not being picked up by them. Now, I may want to make sure that we don't broach the surface, so Mr. Grad, our chief engineer, should give some supervision to the depth steers crewmates to make sure that their depth keeping is fine. And I think this is the right time to sound the alarm and to go for silent running. Yeah, blue lights indicating the crew to be perfectly silent. And now give it a save at that point with the new name W354. Here we go. Hydrophone. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that this guy represents the escort. And that might be speculation. I'm pretty sure that this guy is also an escort. So I have to really try to avoid this one and that one. Particularly this one is probably passing by pretty close. So he might be the guy who detects us. And with 2 miles, he's pretty close by now. Let's just hope that they don't get our signature. So now the off-watch crew should support the officers.
Verstanden, Herr Kommandant.
So let's peek. Just carefully, that should still be the freighter, but there must be an escort coming in. Pretty close somewhere here. Is it him? Yeah, that guy. Ah, I don't like it. I don't like it. This guy is heading straight for us, intercepting us. Not good. Not good. Question is whether I would like to just stop. So this guy is moving something like that.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
Let's stop and stay completely silent. Periscope down. Wow, they are so good meanwhile. By the way, before we get into close action, let me allow me to be AFK for just 1 minute. All right. Ah, come on. This is gonna be tough again. So that guy closing in. I don't like it. That guy's gonna pass by so close. I can't quite believe that he wouldn't recognize us. But now we are running complete silence. Yeah, this might well be these merchantmen. closing in. Ah, look at the guy. He is heading straight for us. Hopefully just by chance.
Herr Kaloin? Herr Kapitän? Herr Kaloin?
I'm worried about these two guys. They're definitely escorts. And particularly this one seems to be on a straight collision course with us. So if I might wait out, this one, and he would be just passing by without noticing me, I would be perfectly inside the convoy then. But this is gonna be tough. Is this realistic that this guy is not detecting us? Yeah, it looks like he's not heading straight for us. He might pass very closely.
Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin.
Okay, that's him. That's good. That looks like he's at least not heading straight towards us. Okay, and this guy passing by there. So fingers crossed that by just doing complete silent running, yeah, what we still have is we have the depth steers on electric. I don't dare to put them on manual because my fear is that then we might still breach the surface. Oh, come on, let's just hope that closing the hatches doesn't make too much noise. that's the real question. Will the guy detect us? He will pass by very closely. Will he detect us or not?
Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin.
Passing by. No. Hey, come on, it's less than 1 mile. One cable is 1/10 of a mile.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
That's him. The other guy is there. But right now I'm only interested in these two guys. Because these are the two escorts which are leading the convoy here where I did position myself.
Herr Kaloin?
Yeah, when I dive, like when I am detected once and I try to escape them, then I always go to manual. Like when you're down at something like 150 meters, it just doesn't matter whether you have a good control of the depth or not. And then I go to manual to really minimize our sound profile. Yeah, but as long as I'm like this on periscope depth, I just don't dare to go to manual because I'm pretty much afraid that I might broach the surface and get watched. Hey, come on, retract the periscope completely for now. I just want to make sure that they don't recognize us. Distance 9 cables. Shall we give it a save? Yeah, come on. W5 355 66 no 55. There we are. And let's accelerate time a bit further. Now 6 o'clock, change of watch.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Verstanden. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Yeah, that's just alright. The captain is at the ready at the periscope, but now the periscope's completely retracted, which is good. And yeah, the technical officers are on damage control. Mr. Strauss just as well, although, well, Mr. Strauss, you need some sleep. Could have sent soldiers. Yeah, as long as we are on battle stations, I can't send anybody to sleep.
Was Unterstützung.
So, Mr. Strauss, I think you're gonna need some coffee, won't you?
Ja, Herr Kaloin, ich kümmere mich darum.
Okay, the guy is passing by very close. Oh, look at that. So I won't poke up the periscope or they would spot it right away. Let's just stay put and don't make any move or noise and hope that they pass by without recognizing us. And then we could wreak havoc inside the convoy. What's the phonograph? Acquiescing? You need to help me. What do you mean with the phonograph? Is this something that you have in cold waters? Yeah, okay, exactly. Let's play some music, yep. Yeah, that's amazing. So in English you say phonograph. In German we would say gramophone. You mean these old record players, right? Yeah, yep. Yes. Yeah, in German that's gramophone. Yeah, the guy is passing by nicely. Fingers crossed that it keeps like that. What about that other guy up there? He's undisturbedly carrying on. Oh, come on. Hey, look at that. Maybe we are lucky and they're just passing by north and south of us. So everybody stay on complete silence. Guys, please. Don't release a fart even. Let's do a bit of cinematic view. Wow, that guy is passing by. It's a Corvette and it's passing by so close. Let's keep fingers crossed that they don't have a clue. Yeah, the rudder is just straight at the moment. That's a good indication that they might have no clue where we are. Where is the other guy? Oh, it's this one. And he is passing by just as well. Oh, that's great. Come on, guys. If we survive this, if they don't detect us, it looks like the whole convoy is just going towards us. And it might become an Eldorado of sinking ships. So guys, keep fingers crossed. Of course, there is a lot more convoy escorts around. But at least these two guys, is it this one? And this one. And we are somewhere in between. Can we spot ourselves in the cinematic view? No, we can't. We must be somewhere here. That's amazing. Yeah, we just have to wait. We have to be patient and let them pass by far enough, and then we can go for these merchantmen. And this guy. Wow. So the have passed by without noticing us, but yeah, we have to be careful. We still have to be completely silent. So that's so sneaky what we are doing here. From their point of view, from the Allied point of view, we are just a few sneaky bastards, actually. A game of patience, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, and so this is what I really love to experience. That, I mean, that not me, it's not only me, but there is other people around in the community who also like these kind of games. At least around here, if you look at the map, it's unfathomable depths underneath us. So the seabed underneath us is 2,500 to 3,000 meters. So no stopping if we would get some leaks.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Moving on.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Moving on. Hey guys. That looks pretty alright at the moment. And so there is plenty of ships coming in. But I want to wait. I just want to wait. Let's not be over anxious now. The escorts are just too close yet. And we have time. There's loads of ships coming in. So let's not do any move for now. There they are passing by. Let's just hope that they don't spot our little anti-radar detection device there. Beautiful guys. That's nice action. Let's keep fingers crossed that it works out and that we don't get fucked up finally. Yeah, well, I'm gonna upload this one later towards YouTube, and yeah, what I hear is that if you use these kind of words like being fucked up, that your hit rate on YouTube is kind of influenced by that. So if you use badass words, you wouldn't get suggested, or let me put it like, you would get suggested less on YouTube if these kind of words are your content. Yeah, well, let's not care about that. And there is loads of ships now coming in. I just have to be patient. In the center of this And this is a tanker, isn't it? Yeah. Stay patient. What is this? This is this and something. That one is really close by. But I think at the moment I do not yet want to go for it, because these escorts are just too close. And they might even spot my periscope when I poke it up through the waves. That guy's moving on.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy? Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 145 Grad.
What about that other guy? Hey, come on. I want to have that other guy's contact.
Herr Kapitän,
Yeah, it's right to the stern right now, and yeah, okay. That's one of these nice realistic features. So we are not able to detect anything which is at 180 degrees sternwards abaft. And this is, I think, why at the moment we don't get any signal of this guy here. Because he's more or less exactly astern. That guy's really passing by close. Let's just hope that they don't detect us. It's still, yeah, it's merchantman, but still. Let's give it a save. Yes, sooner or later we have to poke our periscope through the waves and carry on. A few ships passing by, but that's perfectly fine because there is a lot more ships coming in. Yeah, see, this guy is right astern, so we don't get any hydrophone signature from that guy. This is the dead angle of the hydrophone. But at the moment it looks like they are unsuspiciously moving on, not aware of me. Fine. Yeah, he's just moving on. And that's the other guy, is he? And at the moment it looks like they have not the least suspicion of me being around. Let's just hope that these guys are not. What is this? That's a military. Is it a cruiser? It is, yeah, okay. Amazing. It's not a battleship, I think. But it's a cruiser, so this convoy is actually being accompanied by a cruiser. That's amazing. By the way, allow me to be AFK just for 1 minute. Yeah, of course, it would be pretty badass to sink a cruiser, but the problem is that our mission actually is not to sink men of war, but our mission is to sink merchantmen. So it doesn't make too much sense to go for that guy. Hey, come on, another one. 2 cruises, that's amazing. Of course, it would be nice to sink one of these tankers. Let's see what we get. Let's not be too picky, but let's go for these ships which kind of come close naturally. That one's passing by so closely. And they are moving on. So what's his distance by now? Now he's almost 2 miles away by now. But still, if I would poke up my periscope through the waves, he might still spot it. He might still spot it. Yeah, that guy might be a nice target, but what? Yeah, let's give it one more save and then let's do one tiny time acceleration. The good thing is that obviously they still don't have any idea about me being around. They This guy's moving on. Of course, I have to keep in mind that also the crew of a merchantman is taking good watch. That guy would have been it. And this one over there is a tanker. Shall we go for that tanker? I think they are actually moving on a course like that. And not on a zigzag. Go for multiple targets, yes. Yeah. So what if I turn on my engines now to Kleine Fahrt? Let's just hope that they will not detect us. And I need to do some maintenance of the torpedoes. I'm pretty sure that they are out of maintenance by now. Yes, they are. So, please. They are passing by. They are passing by as well. Wonder if I could go for that guy. I'm in a pretty alright position, I would say now. And it seems like turning on the engines on silent running has not alarmed anybody. Yet. Not yet. Very good. Now, let's see that we go for that guy. Give it a save. We are still undetected. And now I want to this one, but this one. It's a tanker. Let's see which one. this one, right? Velocity 8. Angle on bow. Almost something like that. And now, what about the distance? Give me that. Roughly.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 1, 1, 2, 0 Meter. Winkel 8, 6, Bug rechts. Geschwindigkeit 8, Knoten. Rohr 2 bewässern. Rohr 3
So
bewässern.
what's the depth?
Rohr 4
7.1, so go for 7.5.
Rohr 3 bewässern. Rohr 2 bewässern.
Rohr 2 bewässert.
Okay, I don't have anybody at the computer. Oh god, guys, give me that one. Please. Now be quick. A. Give me the gyro angle. Give me the fucking gyro angle.
Winkel 9, 8, Bug
I
rechts.
need you.
Geschwindigkeit 8, Knoten.
Ah, give it to me. Give it to me. I want to get that guy. Why don't I get the gyro?
Los. Rohr 3 bewässern.
Rohr 3 bewässert.
Los. Rohr 4 bewässern.
Oh shit, I forgot to turn on the magnetic. Oh shit. That might become...
Los.
I
60
forgot.
Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. Ja.
I think I didn't turn on the magnetic, so this one is not gonna detonate. It's coming in perfectly fine, but it's not gonna detonate because I did not do the magnetic pistol. Oh shit. Oh shit. Wow. One hit. Nice. Minimal damage. Second hit. Fire on board. And what about the final torpedo? Coming in. Okay, this one's gonna be a miss. They're gonna go down. They must be going down. They are burning.
10 Sekunden bis Einschlag.
Okay, any other target? So what about this guy?
Fehlschuss.
What are you? Yeah, you're a Liberty, aren't you? And your velocity will be 8 just as well. Maybe it's even just 7.
Eingehendes Funktelegramm.
And the angle on bow, so it's 40. Something like that. So his angle on bow on me would be 50. What about the distance then?
3 Meter. Gegnerlage 5. 0 Bug rechts. Geschwindigkeit 7 Knoten.
Locker 9. Jawohl, ich komme noch nicht auf. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
So, do we get them into the troops in time? Yeah, 3 torps for a tanker is a lot, you're right. But still, I wanted to be on the safe side. So it was 2 hits out of 3. And the guy is gonna sink. Let's give it a save. Although I thought I did fuck it up with the pistol. I think it was alright. And now see that we sink that other guy as well. Loading the torpedoes. This one is the guy I want to get next. Nice. The crew is evacuating. Yeah, that tanker should be sinking. It's good that I fired 3 torpedoes because the first one did only minor damage. The second one went amiss and the third one finally did the kill, I think. Yeah, they should be going down like that. Now torpedoes being loaded. What if I have him on command station? Would it mean that the speed of loading the torpedoes would be accelerated? Let's just not forget to send him back to the torpedo calculator. Okay. Come on now. Get ready with tube 3.
Alles klar, ich werde mich darum kümmern.
Come on, why is this guy not progressing? Keep it going, keep it going. Is he stuck? So that looks like he got stuck. He's not progressing. Yeah, but if we get these 2 torpedoes, it should be alright. And right now we don't get any detection yet. He's not progressing. Is he sinking? Yes, definitely going down. I don't know why Mr. Arlos got stuck with the torpedo, but Mr. Schneider is doing a good job, so we should have that second torpedo available any minute. Nice. Okay, we reached the objective of having sunk 4,000 tons. Guys, get the torpedoes loaded. Flank. Yeah, get it done, please. Now push it in. And finally. There we are. Now what's the distance then? They're pretty close. It's a Spaniard. That doesn't matter when he's in a convoy.
Entfernung
So it's
1076 Meter.
25 degrees. Like that. So that means their angle on bow on me would be something like 64.
Aktualisieren.
Which we
Lage
have.
6, 6, rechts.
Perfectly fine. Now. 7.2, so go for 7.5 in depth.
Rohr 2, bewässern.
Perfectly fine, 7.5. So,
Los. Rohr 4, bewässern. Los. Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. 30 Sekunden.
we check the periscope and
Ja. 30.
oh, this is gonna be a miss. This is gonna be a miss. Let's just hope that the other one is gonna be hit.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Heftig geortet.
What about the other guy? Let this be a hit. Hit the enemy. Serious damage. Very good. So maybe this is sufficient to get the guy down. What about... do we get... Of course we could be lucky to hit another target. Maybe that one. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, this one is passing by astern of that ship. But it would have been nice if that would have been a lucky hit. but it won't. It will pass by. Astern, ahead of the bows. Yeah, that's a pity. It would have been nice to have that one sunk, but yeah, it's gonna pass definitely. Let's leave the view, and now let's just see that we get out of here. Was a heavy hit, but the ship is not sinking, obviously. Hey, what, guys, why don't you get that torpedo loaded? What's the matter with you?
Herr Kapitän?
Okay, the problem is that this guy is not sinking at the moment. Give it a save. We gave it a smooth hit, but maybe we didn't down it. So let's mark it on the map. This guy must be somewhere there. Let's give it 3 question marks. So we might later check it out. But now it might be sensible. It looks like it's going down, is it? Sinking. Yeah. So I think it's oh.
Auf maximale sichere Tiefe gehen. Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
That guy is coming in. He's coming in. Let's just hope that he doesn't have a hedgehog.
25 Meter.
Let's go down.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
So now, Mr. Grader, you could go for
45 Meter.
damage control. Mr. Arnos, for some reason, just doesn't work. That you give me the loading of the torpedo. So there we are going down. We are going down. Let me pause it here for 1 minute. I'll be back in a minute. Don't go away. Let's see if we can make it. back again. Thanks for your patience. And now we are down to 70 meters. And maybe we make it. Maybe we are gonna make it. We're getting the boat down. We're getting the boat down.
85 Meter.
85 meters.
Ja, Herr Kaloin, ich kümmere mich darum.
95 Meter.
Let's see, just principally if we can do that.
Meter.
Wir wurden befestigt geortet.
Yeah, there is lots of propellers going on up there, hunting for us. But at least it looks like we were getting away, and he is progressing. At least. At last. Alright guys, relax.
120 Meter.
There was one ping, but they have no idea where we are. We are running silently. Let's give it one save. W356. So that was a wonderful infiltration, wasn't it? Oh shit.
Aktuelle Tiefe 130 Meter. Schneller, schneller. E-Motoren besetzen. Schneller, schneller.
Let's change course right away. Because this was hedgehogs being fired. That was hedgehogs being fired. That's too bad.
135 Meter.
Now fingers crossed that these hedgehogs don't home in on us.
Feindliche Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit.
Bleibt wachsam, aber keine Panik. Wir machen das schon. 140 Meter.
Yeah, these hedgehogs are really dangerous. They have some impact pistol. So if they hit the hull,
45 Meter.
they really destroy us. In the past, when I was hit by hedgehog directly, the leakage was so large that there was no chance of repairing it.
Kleine Fahrt voraus. 150 Meter.
Fingers crossed, but right now it looks like these hedgehogs did miss us.
Geräusch. Peilung 205 Grad.
145 Meter.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle. Schraubengeräusche direkt über uns.
Do they know where we are? Do they?
Wasserbomben. Sehr nah.
Change course by 90 degrees and hope that we get away from these depth charges. Yeah, let's go even deeper. Maybe they would not expect us to go that deep. Wow, depth charges.
150 Meter.
But not too close at the moment. Oxygen level.
155 Meter.
Watering the bilge is uncritical. Oxygen level is, yeah, okay.
Aktuelle Tiefe 165 Meter.
Just wonder why Mr. Schneider is not being able to do damage control. Let's reduce speed again.
Wir wurden entdeckt.
Yeah, well,
Unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
Schraubengeräusche. Direkt über.
yeah, of course.
175 Meter.
But still, by the way, we didn't yet get the signature that we finally did sink that ship. Fingers crossed that it was going down. For now. Yeah, getting quite a bit of tonnage. But that second ship, I think we didn't yet get accounted for. And alright.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Estig geortet.
190 Meter.
Wasserbomben. Sehr nah.
Schneller, schneller.
Let's turn on the pumps. And let's turn on the ventilation. Like when they drop depth charge and one ship is passing by right above us. It might just not make a difference if I make some noise.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Zu Befehl, Herr Kommandant.
So changing course by 90 degrees. Jet depth charge is exploding, but not too close.
Ventilation ausschalten.
Please, somebody turn off the ventilation. Who's gonna do that? Hans Blumer, where are you? Mr. Blumer, please turn it off. Yeah, thank you very much. Hey, chainsaw! It's pretty late around here, so you're dropping in when I start to think about oh, you are coming in right in the moment when we are in a bit of trouble. So we nicely infiltrated that convoy, fired torpedoes on two ships, sank one tanker. The other one, well, I hope that it's going down. No message yet, and now they beat us badly. How are you, by the way? Yeah, great that you drop in. Only around here it's pretty late by now. Yeah, aqua icing, you turn in? So, yeah, same for me. I think I'm just gonna continue that for a few more minutes and then I have to turn in as well. So, thanks for joining and have a good night, aqua icing. Chainsaw, yeah, alright. And that's what happens, yeah. Get the water out, but yeah, the efficiency of the pump is it's almost zero. So down here, come on guys, we could just turn off the pump, it doesn't help anything against that water pressure. The pump is completely useless.
Aktuelle Tiefe 200 Meter. Kleine Fahrt raus.
Alright, but we weren't hit yet. Yeah, so let's give it a save and yeah, actually it's getting late. It's 3 o'clock around here and yeah, I can sleep a little bit longer tomorrow, but still I have to work. I have to be at my desk at 9 o'clock here in my home office. And so it's not that many hours left to sleep. So guys, it was a pleasure. That was a wonderful stream. Great to have all of you in. So Chainsaw, I'm sorry. You just dropped in and I'm gonna turn in. But yeah, as I said, pretty late. Aqua icing. Have a good night, Chainsaw. Have a good night. Oh, that is...
Spieß gegen diese Jäger
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Heftig geortet.
That was firing more of these hedgehogs. But yeah, we will check that next time. Yippee yap, I don't know if you're still in. If you are, have a good evening, Captain Jimbo. Yeah, from the UK, so we are in similar time zones. Maybe you already have turned in. Have a good night. And not wet, just cold. I'm not quite sure if you're still in. If you are, have a good night as well. And Navigator, you joined in the very beginning, so I'm not quite sure if you're still there. And if you are, thanks for joining and have a good night. So guys, see you. I'm definitely gonna stream tomorrow, just not yet quite sure whether I'm gonna do U-boat. Let's see. Have a good one. Bye bye.